Alright, so Arsenal fans, I recommend that you skip to about a minute or two into this video because first and foremost, before I get into my actual proper straight-faced analysis on this game and this title race overall and the fact that it's over, I'm going to have a little bit of fun as a Chelsea fan because I think I'm entitled to it, especially after all the fucking chat that Arsenal fans gave me and everyone else and their nans for the whole season that they were going to win the Premier League title. And as a Chelsea fan, I know you're going to say, oh, but you're and you might be right. In fact, you very much are right. But you know what? I'm just going to have a little bit of a laugh, and then about 2 or so minutes into this video, I will get into some actual proper analysis on this game and the title race overall and Arsenal season overall, and I will take off my biased hat. So, yep, I recommend you just skip to that time unless you want to be pissed off by me, which I don't really want to happen. But, yeah, let's just get straight into it. So, yeah. Arsenal 0, Brighton 3, the title race is over, and I wonder who's been saying it for months and months and months that Arsenal would not win the Premier League title, even when they were top of Christmas, even when they were, 7, 8, 9 points clear at the top of the league. I wonder who said they're underestimating the City animal that comes into play at the end of the season. I wonder who said Arsenal wouldn't have the leadership, the experience, and the know-how to guide themselves through a Premier League title challenge against this Man City team. In the words of Plato, my friends, nobody is hated more than he who speaks the truth. Yeah, I mean, Arsenal were completely and utterly outclassed by Brighton, to be honest. 3-0 at home. I mean, like I said, I was one of the only fuckers, even from, not even just Arsenal fans, just neutral fans in general. I was one of the only ones that said, that maintained throughout the whole season, no matter what happened and what happened to Arsenal and what they went through and what they succeeded in, even after their 3-2 win over Bournemouth at home when Reece Nelson scored that goal to come back from 2-0 in the 98th minute of the game, I still said Arsenal will not win the Premier League title because they don't have the leadership, they don't have the know-how to navigate through a title race like this City team have under Pep Guardiola, and the quality this City team has in depth that Arsenal just do not have, evidently, since they've been missing, William Saliba, Alexander Zinchenko, Martinelli went off injured, and that's been proven because ever since Saliba and Zinchenko as well got injured, that Arsenal fans have been like, oh, see, we can't win the league without Saliba, we can't win the league without Zinchenko. How do you think you're going to win the league if you miss 1 or 2 of your key players? I mean, it's just not how it works. If City miss De Bruyne, they've got Gundogan. If City miss John Stones, they've got Laporte. If City miss Haaland, they've got Alvarez. If City miss Mahrez, they've got Foden. I don't know. It's just the quality and difference in depth between Arsenal and Man City is absolutely staggering. And yeah, once again, I repeat, I maintained throughout the whole season that City would win the league and would pip Arsenal to this Premier League title. And guess who was proven right? And you know what? They can't say they haven't bottled it. I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans trying to, skirt away from the fact that a lot of people have said they've bottled it. And I'm sorry, they just have. I mean, we all saw that chart where they've been top of the table for 90-95% of this season. I'm sorry, if that doesn't go down as bottling a league, if that isn't bottling a Premier League title, I simply do not know what is. The only way you can bottle a title more is if you're top for the whole season until the final day of the season and then you lose it. I mean, they have royally bottled it, and look, in my opinion, they've had a really good season. I will get on to, praising Arsenal a little bit, surprisingly enough, by the start of this video, but I think that they simply have bottled it. I think it's absolutely ridiculous to say they haven't done, given the position they've been in for the majority of this season. And Arsenal, it's fair to say, have conceded the Premier League title now to Man City, and City will win it next weekend. I actually think that they will have it won before they kick off against Chelsea next weekend. I think that Arsenal won't get anything, or will get at least a draw, or at most a draw I should say, from the Nottingham Forest game next Saturday. So I think City will have it won by then, but even still, if Arsenal do win that game against Forest, City will be able to win it against Chelsea, which there's a 99.99999% chance that City do beat Chelsea. But yeah, I'm going to praise Arsenal and give them a little bit of slack in this video because, to be honest, I've said countless times on this channel in recent times that there's absolutely no shame in losing to this Brighton team. I mean, they're just absolutely ridiculous. They came to the Emirates and they absolutely stole the show, and to be honest, they were much the better team. They controlled the game at the Emirates, which you don't really see Arsenal not controlling games, especially this season. 1.78 expected goals to 0.84 for Arsenal, 59% possession for Brighton. Do you know how ridiculous it is to overpower Arsenal in possession, unless you're Man City, in the Premier League this season? And Brighton have done it, and 4 big chances to 1 for Brighton. I mean, that is just absolutely outrageous, and yet they were absolutely brilliant. I thought that not only did they defend really well, thought that Arsenal were quite sloppy, to be fair, in the final third and made it a little bit easier for Brighton, but I think Brighton were so good in that second half, so clinical, and the 3 goals you could say are easily avoidable from Arsenal's perspective, given the fact that the first goal is kind of a lapse in concentration from Kivior at the back, and Cissokho gets a free header which he shouldn't get. The second one is an individual error from Trossard, which is obviously pounced upon and Undav scores, and the third goal is an individual error, you could say, from probably Ramsdale, who should maybe do better forward, and Estupinian scores. But at that stage the game is done and dusted, and Arsenal players aren't really as focused on winning the game as they were beforehand, obviously, so you can come a little bit of slack for it. And yet De Zerbi has just got this Brighton team ticking. I still do maintain that Graham Potter is partly responsible for it. Obviously, I can't knock De Zerbi. He's done an absolutely brilliant job, and there's no doubt has taken Brighton to another level. And I mean, he's just a top class manager. To come to the Emirates, once again I reiterate, and dominate possession and create more chances than them, it's just absolutely unheard of. It's just ridiculous. And yes, I know Arsenal are not the same team they were a few months ago, given obviously they're missing Saliba and they're missing Zinchenko and they were missing Martinelli, for example, but even still, it's an absolutely brilliant achievement. And like I say again, there is absolutely no shame in losing to this Brighton team, and yet they're just an absolutely brilliant team. And if they can keep growing and keep a few of their players for next season, I don't see why they can't even qualify for the Champions League next season. I think they're that good, and I definitely do think that they will have Europa League football summed up now in the next few weeks. I think the only game they'll probably lose between now and then is that City game. I just think that City are the most overpowering team in the world of football right now, and I just think with the run they're on and the form they're on and what they have to achieve in terms of the Premier League, the Champions League and the FA Cup, I think they will win the treble now. I really do, and I just think they're absolutely formidable. I think they're pretty much unbreakable, especially at this point of the season in most years, and I think it will be City's title, like I said. And just to cut Arsenal a little bit more slack, obviously, to be fair, if they do win their last 2 games of the season, they will finish on 87 points, which is not to be sniffed at or knocked in any stretch of the imagination. And especially going up against this City side, to win the league you've got to be absolutely perfect, and you're going to have to play out of your skin for 38 games of the season. So I just think there's no shame really in losing out in the title race to this City team, because like I said, they're just an absolute beast when they get going. Especially they've got quality in every single position and on the bench as well, and with Pep Guardiola they've got, simply put, the best manager in the world of football by an absolute country mile, in my opinion. So even still, it's been a really good season for Arsenal. Getting top 4 was the objective at the start of the season. I didn't think they'd get it, so to finish second overall, I think at the start of the season they would have really taken that. And I think if they were to build in the summer now, bring in a bit more depth in the midfield areas, in defence, and just in the squad in general, I really do think that Arsenal could maybe give it a go next season. Again, I don't think they'll win the league next season. I think this was probably the best chance they're going to get at winning a league title for a long period of time now, especially till Guardiola leaves the league, in my opinion anyway, although I could be proven wrong in that sense. But I just feel like this was Arsenal's year to win the Premier League title, and even how unlikely it was at the start of the season, I think that they've probably blown their only chance of winning it now for the near future. But yeah, like I said, just a really good season for Arsenal overall, not even taking the piss. I do think they deserve a lot of credit for even pushing City this far this season, to be honest. And yet, 2 games to go now for Arsenal. Nottingham Forest away, which I do actually think, like I said at the start of the video, I think there is an upset in store in that one. I do, for some reason, I have a gut feeling, and have had for a number of weeks now. It's not even just a reactionary reaction off the back of this game. I for some reason think that Forest are going to get a win in that one, or at the very least a draw. Then Arsenal play Wolves on the final day of the season. You'd expect they win that one. City then, they play my club Chelsea next weekend, and as a Chelsea fan, I've got absolutely all hope going into that one. So I think City will pretty much walk over us and will have the Premier League title won and sewn up in the bag by this time next week. Then they go and play Brighton away from home the midweek after that, and then they finish the season away to Brentford. 2 very tough games, but obviously in my opinion, like I said, I think they will have the title sewn up in the bag by that stage. And then they will be playing more than likely Inter Milan in the Champions League final if they get past Real Madrid, which to be fair is going to be a tough task in itself. But yeah, like I said, I just think that it's City's year now for the Champions League. I think City will overcome Man United in the final of the FA Cup as well, and I think City will be making history this season in terms of not only being the second team to do 3 titles in a row after Manchester United, who obviously did it twice in the Fergie era, but also winning the treble overall, the ultimate treble, which is the Premier League, Champions League and FA Cup. And this City team, I mean, they're the best team I've ever witnessed in my life. I was really young when Barcelona had that team under Pep in 2009 to 2012. But I think in terms of all the football teams I've ever watched and really been able to take in and consume, this City team is just the best team I've ever seen by an absolute stretch. I mean, they're just absolutely ridiculous. I can't praise them enough, to be honest, and that's why again I cut Arsenal a little bit of slack, because to beat this City team in the title race, you've got to be absolutely on point to a degree that is unheard of really, and that's why I think that Arsenal have just come up short in this title race. But yep, Arsenal fans, are you still pissed off at me? Let me know in the comment section below. Leave a like in the video if you did enjoy. But yep, I hope that after I had my little bit of fun at the start of the video, that you can understand that I was a little bit unbiased for the end of the video and just gave my honest opinion, and you know what, gave them their praises, because because at the end of the day, literally everyone and their nan by Arsenal fans is going to be taking the piss out of them. So I want to kind of just, you know, give them a little bit of praise while they're down, to be honest, because they do deserve it for the season they've had, in my opinion. And yeah, subscribe to the channel if you are new as well. We're looking to hit 3,000 subscribers on this channel as soon as we can possibly get there, so that would be massively appreciated. And turn on that notification bell as well if you did enjoy this video and you don't want to miss more of this content. I do Premier League content and Chelsea content overall, so yeah, do not miss it. Especially over the summer, we're going to be doing a lot of videos on the transfer window and how I think teams will set up next season, so that should be fun. And yep, I'll see you guys in my next video, and yeah, chat to you later.